Welcome back to the colon of anime, One Punch Man. Everybody seems to have a bone to pick with Bandai Namco, myself included. This episode had me looking exactly like this, everyone, because how are they going to fit a finale into all of these incomplete storylines? We start with an example of minimum viable animation. I'm going to give you a definition for that too. It's simply the least amount of movement required for an episode to count as animated. And we have some stellar examples this episode. Pick your flavor of JC Staff PNG. We have orange sherbet, grape jam, lemon custard, or you can just stare at a transmitter for an entire agonizing 8 seconds. I know scenes like this are not unique to One Punch Man, and I appreciate the detail here, but isn't that kind of insane for a show's quality to be so bad that actual backgrounds are a nice change? And this is truly what I am talking about. Thank goodness his mouth moved. And you can decide whether this fits the definition I gave earlier, but you cannot deny that this next scene fits. I think the animators may never get fair nitpickery from me after this season, but wait, wow, he moved his shoulders. Orange sherbet again, but I may have forgotten about the cherry flavor. We might even get blueberry. Wow. Here's the black sperm fight. Crazy that we have black sperm in season 3, but not a cigarette. They start out the fight with a few examples of minimum viable animation, where JC Staff proves that they are truly unmatched in the practice. Here we have an example of a complete loss of continuity. This is like the lead actor wearing a different shirt after a cut. I'm going to play the samurai slash and just let me know what you see. Done super lazily, by the way. Now look, his arm is slashed in a completely different way. Zero continuity. Run this back, just look at this. It is clear as day. You don't need to be an animator or a critic to describe what is happening on screen. This is what happens when a studio that isn't known for animating fight scenes gets this IP. I'll explain more on this later. Just watch this series of PNGs and ask yourself, truly dig down deep, is this really doing anything for you? Can you really believe that an animation production company waited 6 entire years to release this episode? I just can't believe that they really think that the more neon slashes there are per frame equals better.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What are you talking about, man?
They actually kind of cook on this cut, but then immediately return to minimum viable animation. I will not lie, watching this back, I was rather heated, because I got baited for the 11th time that maybe the budget will be in this episode. Atomic Samurai really gets beat on by Sadman's Parade, with some scenes that really try to but don't have much impact. Very budget Sadman's Parade here as well, with jarring cuts to still frames with impact animations on them. I do sort of like this scene where they laugh at him, but then they immediately follow it up with a slash to the ceiling that is just executed poorly. Zombie Man watches the camera slowly slide to his right while looking very startled about the man who just appeared behind him, who then... I will give them some credit here. They give Homeless Emperor some good impact frames and they do him justice for some of these cuts. However, the same cannot be said for Zombie Man, and I'm going to bring up another loss of continuity moment here, which is sort of nitpicky, but it exemplifies what I am talking about with this loss of continuity very well. Zombie Man's right portion of his head is missing in this frame with the dark skin. They cut back to another frame of him with gray skin not 10 seconds after, and then the continuity is really lost. Where's the missing chunk in his head? Did it regenerate? No, the studio just lost their collective train of thought. Homeless Emperor then blocks the gunshot he was saving for last in his chest or something, and we get these scenes of Zombie Man on fire which look okay until you realize there is a missing chunk out of his head. Seriously guys, is there zero communication? And then of course, his head isn't missing a chunk in the very next scene. You could call it nitpicky, but this is a problem that exemplifies the issues people have with JC's staff. We have a few more examples of MVA, but I really want to highlight the strengths that JC's staff do have. These scenes that are coming up are done well. The dialogue is moving, speaking on the insignificance of man, the reality of Japanese corporate culture, and the beauty of the earth. These scenes have emotional weight, and I think they are truly well done. You can only imagine if certain other studios got this IP, and JC's staff went back to breathing life into the stories they truly shine in. The still image they went with here is 10 times more impactful and fitting than any of the PNGs we have seen. Like these ones. Washed out colors, zero background, unfitting visual effects on his face in this cut, and then a scene that I personally think could have been executed better, which speaks on the ugly, tiny, and foolish world that humanity has built, the shallowness of its intelligence, and the choice to choose the death of it. The dialogue is 10 times more impactful than the visual content in these specific scenes. He meets what he describes as God, who grants him his power, and this scene of 2 fingers is the one where he vows to destroy humanity. Such an impactful scene, right? Zombie Man gets the Titan Steam healing effect, and of course the chunk in his head is fully healed after that little fire bath. But wait, hold on to your hats, people, here comes the man himself. After those incredible words from Saitama, we are thrown into a completely different fight. Don't worry, these side characters don't last long thanks to this guy. So after he steals their powers, we get some stunning visuals like these, and this scene that must convey impact falls completely flat. That's my opinion, of course, but you can decide from what you're seeing here. Does anyone actually like watching the Piri Piri prisoner fights? For me, they don't have good pacing and largely fall flat. It also doesn't help when entirely uncolored still frames are added into the fight. Blowing this guy's chest apart doesn't do the same thing to the extras that are in there. Makes sense. Here's his prison buddies, some more MVA here, painfully obvious lazy scenes with zero backgrounds nor impact. Romance anime style backgrounding mid-fight, what are we doing here? I cut out so much of this fight because it's just plain boring. Cat scratch that means nothing, this cat just dips into a crack, we have some cave diver memes, a chase through the brown backgrounds as this cat goes hyperspeed through freaking bedrock. What even is this scene, dude? Like, aren't we supposed to be underground? Breaks out and absolutely obliterates his prison buddies. RIP in peace. Purple and red? Might as well put a bottle of cotton candy Faygo right here. RIP in peace again. Turns around, and with a look like this, you know shit is heating up to lukewarm next episode. And finally, here is Saitama delivering his lines with, admittedly, all the enthusiasm a eulogy can muster.
Oh, ようやくやんだか。それにしてもおぞましい不快な音だった。けどそれでいてどこか悲しみも帯びてたし、何だったんだ。地獄の釜の蓋でも開いたのか。しかしどうなってんだよここ。やたらと広いし。さっきの変質者に道聞いとけよかった。よし。次に住人らしきやつを見つけたら、踏んづかまえて道案内させよう。
Thank you for watching through to the end. Give me some feedback by liking or disliking this video and maybe consider doing this. Catch you next week.